जीवम साद्वैतम सावधूतम परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सजनललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमामि विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिने नित्यनामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवान्विचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay. So 3.23, close book assessment questions. Question number 10 onwards. How did traveling all over the universe with her husband affect Devahuti? 44. 44. After traveling with her husband all over the universe, Devahuti naturally became sexually stimulated. There's some connection between travel and all this. 11. Why did Kazamuni expand himself into 9 forms? 44 and 57. It is understood that the sexual appetite of a woman is 9 times greater than that of a man. Otherwise, Kazamuni would have had no reason to expand himself into 9. Since Kazamuni could understand that Devahuti wanted many children, at the first chance he begot 9 children at one time. 12. What general principles can be drawn from the incident of Kazamuni expanding himself into 9 forms? It is another example of yogic power. However powerful a yogi may be, he cannot expand himself into more than 8 or 9 forms. In other words, he can only expand up to a finite number of forms. Okay. Then that was 44. Okay, then question 13. What should be understood from the example of Kardamuni preparing to leave home? 49. A person whose main concern is Krishna consciousness, even if he's entrapped in household life, should always be ready to leave household enticement as soon as possible. 14. Explain Devahuti's final request from her husband. 51 to 53, so much. It will be too long. If the answer is to be taken from the purpose, it will be too long. I'm going to cancel this question. 14. Yes.
So in that Question number 12 from verse 44. One general principle, we can say this one also regarding sex lives, that sexual appetite of woman is 9 times than of a man.
That is there, but he wanted to give that many children. That's a very interesting point that Prabhupada has noted. He wanted to finish off his household affairs fast, and therefore we got 9 children at one time.
Oh, okay.
No, it's just the simple point is one can expand only up to a finite number of forms, whereas the Supreme Lord can expand himself into an infinite number of forms. Maybe that should also be noted. Okay, so question 14, I'm going to cancel it. Okay, 15. Why did they go 3 and 4? 54 to 57. My God. Or else this 14 we can keep it, but the answer should be straight taken from the translations only. In that case, the question should be modified. I'll modify it. Modify. Change question 14 to what was Devasuti's final request from one? In which case we can take the answer straight from the translations. You fulfilled all the promises you gave me, yet because I am your surrendered soul, you should give me fearlessness too. As far as your daughters are concerned, they will find their own suitable husbands and go away to their respective homes. But who will give me solace after your departure as a sannyasi? Until now, we have simply wasted so much of our time in sense gratification, neglecting cultivate knowledge of the Supreme Lord. Okay, that's all. In 15, why did Devahuti lament? Why did Devahuti lament? Not why did Devahuti lament? I'll modify it to what was Devahuti's lamentation? Or what did Devahuti lament for? It should be 54 to 57. This one was 51 to 53. 54 to 57. Association for sense gratification is certainly the path of bondage. But the same type of association performed with the saintly person leads to the path of liberation, even if performed without knowledge. Anyone whose work is not meant to elevate him to religious life, anyone whose religious ritualistic performances do not raise him to renunciation, and anyone situated in renunciation that does not lead him to devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, must be considered dead, although he is breathing. Surely I've been solidly cheated by the insurmountable illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For in spite of having obtained your association, which gives liberation from material bondage, I did not seek such liberation. (24). Question 1. Who is called Swayambhu and why? Nine. Brahma is called Swayambhu because he's not born of any material father and mother. He is the first living creature and is born from the lotus which grows from the abdomen of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. Therefore, he is called Swayambhu, self-born. Question 2. Why is Brahma sometimes called Swarat and Aja 10? He is called Swarat. Solve this. No. Kapila is the son of Kardamuni in the system of Sankhya philosophy, where he explicitly explained not only the material world but also the spiritual world. Brahma could understand this fact because he is Swarat, almost independent in receiving knowledge. He is called Swarat because he did not go to any school or college to learn, but learned everything from within. Because Brahma is the first living creature within the universe, he had no teacher. His teacher was the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, who is seated in the heart of every living creature. Brahma acquired knowledge directly from the Supreme Lord within the heart. Therefore, he is sometimes called Swarat and Aja. Aja. Okay, all right. Aja means he's unborn. Okay. 3. Explain the difference between Kala and Amsha 10. What is this? Why is it like this? God expands either as Kala or as Amsha. Amsha means direct expansion, and Kala means expansion of the expansion. There is no difference between the expansion of the expansion, and the Supreme Personality of God directly, as there is no difference between one candle and another. But still, the candle from which the others are lit is called the original. Okay. 4. How can one overcome the 4 defects? 12. A conditioned soul in the material world has the disqualification of cheating, of cheating. Yes, 4 disqualifications. He's sure to commit mistakes. He's sure to be illusioned. He's prone to cheat others, and his senses are imperfect. But if one carries out the order of the spiritual master by disciplic succession or the parampara system, he overcomes the 4 defects. Fine. How should the son or disciple accept the words of his father or guru? 13. The son or disciple should accept the words of his spiritual master and father without hesitation. Whatever the father and the spiritual master order should be taken without argument. Yes, there should be no instance in which the disciple or the son says, "This is not correct, I cannot carry it out." 6. How does Bhagavatam foretell married life in this age of Kali? 15. It is foretold in the 12th canto of the Bhagavatam that in this age of Kali, married life will be accepted on the consideration of sex only. When the boy and girl are pleased in sex, they get married, and when they are deficient, there is deficiency in sex, they separate. That is not actual marriage, but a combination of men and women like cats and dogs. Therefore, the children produced in the modern age are not exactly human beings. 7. Summarize the main point of the purport to verse 29. Sure. No, it's an understanding question. I'm going to remove that. Question 8. List and briefly explain the 2 types of devotees mentioned in the purport to verse 34. Why is it like this? There are two kinds of devotees of the Lord. One is called Goshtyanandi, which means those who are preachers and have many followers for preaching the glories of the Lord and who live among those many followers just to organize missionary activities. Other devotees are Atmanandi or self-satisfied and do not take the risk of preaching word. Therefore, they therefore remain alone with God. Nine, since God himself was present in Kardama's home, why should he leave 35? Okay, this is one part, then I'll come to it. Here it is said that whatever is spoken in the Vedas and whatever is practiced in accordance with the injunctions of the Vedas is to be accepted as authoritative in society. Satya Laukike, Prabhupada is interpreting it as spoken in scripture, Satya Laukike, and ordinary speech means ordinary speech of the authorities who who apply the true teachings of the scriptures. After his 50th year. His father Brahma ordered him to marry and beget children as a householder. Kardama did that also. He begot 9 good daughters and 1 son, Kapila Muni, and thus his householder duty was also performed nicely. And now his duty was to leave. Even though he had the Supreme Personality of Godhead as his son, he had to respect the authority of the Vedas. Again, Prabhupada explains it. 3 times he talks about this. 10. Why is sannyas prohibited in this age of Kali Yuga? 35. This is one part of the answer. In this age of Kali Yuga, sannyas is prohibited because persons in this age are all Shudras and cannot follow the rules and regulations of sannyas life. Those who actually follow the rules and regulations must take sannyas. 11. What is the main purpose of sannyas? 35. The main purpose of sannyas life is to be in constant companionship with the Supreme Lord, either by thinking of Him within the heart or hearing of Him through oral reception. 12. What is the position of a woman who is left by her husband? 40. Yes.
It is not mentioned anything about preaching in the main purpose of sannyas life.
No, the main purpose of renunciate life is to be absorbed in Bhagavad Bhakti. Preaching is, Prabhupada talks about that. No? You see, the main purpose is through either hearing and chanting. The chanting is preaching. No? Chanting is not just chanting mantras. Kirtanam, kirtanam. So that can be understood in that way.
This also comes for brahmacharis.
Brahmachari is training. Yes. It is 40. Not 40.
So till sannyasa he will not think like that. Means observing in Krishna consciousness.
No, he should, he should. But it's under he's a trainee. He's a student. Brahmachari is student. Sannyasi is teacher. Both are have to be absorbed in full Krishna consciousness.
But after becoming sannyasi also he is hearing only.
That's okay, but now he's teacher. He has to be, he cannot say that I'm getting trained. It's all post-training. He's a graduate now. Here it is. All right, fine. 12. What is the position of a woman who is left by her husband? She is entrusted to the son, and the son promises that he will deliver his mother from entanglement. Fine. 13. Explain what is meant by going to the forest. 41. Go to the forest means to accept exclusively the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engage oneself in full service. Fourteen. Why is a sannyasi freed from the responsibility to offer fire sacrifice? 42. A sannyasi does not have to cook or offer fire for sacrifice because he's always engaged in Krishna consciousness. Fifteen. Explain what the last snare of Maya is. 45. Material contamination continues as long as one thinks that he is as good as the Supreme Lord or is equal to him, equal with him. This condition is the last snare of Maya. Maya always, okay, let's continue with that. Very interesting. Anyways, it's okay. Analogies 3.24.6. pot. Fire is already present in wood, but by a certain process, fire is kindled. Similarly, God is all pervading. He's everywhere. And since he may come out from everything, he appeared in his devotees. 13 purport. As a man cannot separate his life from his body, a disciple cannot separate the order of the spiritual master from his life. 13.9 purport. Since the sunshine is the luster of the sun planet, by seeing the sun, one automatically sees the sunshine. Similarly, by seeing the Supreme Personality of God, one simultaneously sees and experiences the Paramatma feature, as well as the impersonal Brahman feature of the Supreme. 41 purport. Alone in a field, if one falls into a blind well and no one is there to save him, he may cry for years and no one will see or hear where the crying is coming from. Death is sure. Similarly, those who are forgetful of their eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord are in the blind well of family life. That position is very ominous, very dangerous. Okay, there's a question here. Yes.
This last snare of Maya means after that he will become a devotee.
After that, if you make spiritual progress, you will give up all these thoughts.
Means in a training period also means one who is trying to become a devotee, then also is in the this snare of Maya, no?
Possible, possible.